All right, so you want to dive into Stoicism.
You're in the right place if you're ready to like go beyond just chill out and really unpack this whole Stoic philosophy.
Yeah.
So forget that stiff upper lip stereotype.
Right.
We're going to go deep on how this, ancient wisdom can be a surprisingly practical toolkit for navigating the chaos
Yeah.
of modern life, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of the sources described it as a lighthouse in a storm,
Oh, wow.
which I thought was very powerful.
It is, yeah, it is a striking image, and
Yeah.
it gets right to the heart of what Stoicism offers, that sense of stability and direction when things feel really turbulent.
Yeah, because let's face it, life can be one heck of a storm sometimes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But instead of, being swept away by external events, Stoicism focuses on what we can control,
Okay.
our own thoughts, our reactions, and our choices.
So it's like our inner fortress.
You could say that, yeah.
Okay, so less about willing the storm to go away
Yeah.
and more about learning to navigate the ship.
Mm-hmm.
What I find really interesting is how Stoicism goes beyond
Yeah.
just enduring tough times.
Uh-huh.
Our sources highlight how it can actually help us thrive in the face of challenges,
Yeah.
leading to greater resilience, reduced anxiety, even better relationships.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful stuff.
Those benefits are all interconnected.
Right.
And they stem from that fundamental Stoic principle of focusing on what's within our control.
Okay.
Take resilience, for example.
Okay.
Stoicism encourages us to view obstacles as opportunities for growth,
Oh, interesting.
even to embrace them
Wow.
as a chance to practice our virtue.
Okay, now that's interesting. So it's not just about grinning and bearing it,
No.
but actually seeing those challenges as a chance to become stronger, more capable
Yeah.
versions of ourselves.
Precisely. Think of it this way. When you encounter an obstacle,
Okay.
Stoicism asks, what is this teaching me about myself?
Mm-hmm.
How can I use this experience to cultivate greater strength, wisdom, or self-control?
So it's almost like Stoicism provides a framework for turning those oh crap moments
Yeah.
into, okay, I've got this moment.
You could say that.
Okay.
Now, let's not underestimate the power of reduced anxiety either.
Okay.
Our sources suggest that by accepting what we can't control, like that frustrating commute, or the inevitable ups and downs of life,
Right.
we naturally lessen the anxiety associated with them.
There's a certain logic to that, right?
Yeah.
If you're constantly stressing about things you have zero power over,
Yeah,
that's a recipe for burnout.
for sure.
But Stoicism says, hey, let's shift that focus,
Exactly.
put it somewhere else.
It's about redirecting that energy to where it can be truly effective to our own responses, our own choices.
Right.
And when we do that, it creates a sense of agency, even amidst chaos.
Almost like finding a pocket of calm in the middle of a hurricane just by shifting your internal focus.
Right.
But here's where it gets really interesting to me. How does Stoicism play into something as interpersonal as relationships?
That's where that idea of focusing on what we can control takes on a whole new dimension. Right. Because when it comes to relationships, we often get tripped up trying to control other people.
Yes.
Their opinions, their actions.
This is so true.
And newsflash, it rarely ends well.
Right.
So how does Stoicism apply here?
Are we just supposed to become detached and indifferent?
Not at all. Remember, Stoicism emphasizes virtue and wisdom,
Okay.
and that includes compassion and understanding. It's more about recognizing that everyone,
Okay.
including those who drive us crazy sometimes,
Right.
is navigating their own internal world, their own set of challenges.
So instead of taking everything personally, it's about putting ourselves in their shoes,
Exactly.
even for a moment.
And by extending that understanding, that grace,
Yeah,
we create space for stronger, more authentic connections.
that's great.
One of our sources actually uses the metaphor of a sparring partner to illustrate this point.
Okay.
Imagine you're training with someone and they land a punch. A Stoic approach wouldn't be to get angry or take it personally.
Right.
It would be to see it as an opportunity to learn, to improve your own technique.
So instead of viewing disagreements or conflicts as personal attacks,
Yeah.
we can approach them with a sense of curiosity, even a willingness to learn from the other person's perspective.
Precisely. And that shift in mindset can be transformative for our relationships.
I like it.
But here's the thing about Stoicism. It's not just about understanding these concepts intellectually.
Yeah.
It's about actively integrating them into our lives day after day.
Right.
It's a practice, not a destination.
Okay, so how do we actually do that? Because it's one thing to talk about Stoicism,
Yeah.
but putting it into action in the real world where people cut you off in traffic and your inbox is overflowing, That feels different.
It is. It takes conscious effort, especially at first,
Uh,
but it can be surprisingly simple too.
okay.
Think about your morning routine.
Okay.
What if instead of immediately reaching for your phone
Oh, I see where you're going.
and getting bombarded with information and to-dos,
Yeah.
you took a few moments for stoic reflection?
Okay. I'm intrigued. What would that even look like?
It could be as simple as taking a few deep breaths
Okay.
and reminding yourself of that core stoic principle.
Right.
There's a lot I can't control, but I can control my reactions, my
Okay.
choices, my attitude.
Mm-hmm.
You could even try journaling about it,
Okay.
just for a few minutes to set the tone for the day.
See, that's something I can actually get behind.
Journaling feels manageable,
Right.
even on a chaotic morning.
But what about when those inevitable curveballs get thrown throughout the day?
That's where the real work comes in, right?
Right.
And that's where Stoicism offers a surprising array of tools.
Okay.
One technique that I find particularly helpful
Okay.
is something called negative visualization.
Okay. That sounds a bit intense
Are we talking about manifesting bad things here?
because I'm not really into that.
Not at all.
Okay.
It's actually the opposite. It's about taking a few moments to imagine things not going our way,
Okay.
missing that deadline,
Right.
getting stuck in traffic, even experiencing the loss of something we value.
I'm not going to lie, that still sounds kind of stressful.
It might seem counterintuitive, but hear me out.
Oh.
But instead of dwelling in fear, we're approaching those possibilities
Right.
with a calm and rational mindset, ready to adapt and respond effectively.
Which, let's be honest, is a far more empowering approach than just hoping everything will magically work out
Yeah,
perfectly all the time.
absolutely. And that brings us back to the heart of Stoicism.
Right.
It's about focusing on what we can control,
Okay.
which is ultimately our own response to whatever life throws our way.
Right.
And one thing I find particularly fascinating about Stoicism is its emphasis on virtue
Okay.
as a core principle.
Okay. Tell me more about that.
It seems like a lot of modern self-help focuses on things like productivity
Right.
and achievement,
Yeah.
but Stoicism seems to take a different approach.
You're right. Stoicism places a high value on living a life of integrity, justice, wisdom, courage,
Yeah.
those fundamental qualities that make us not just successful,
Right.
but truly good human beings.
So it's not just about feeling better or getting more done,
Yeah.
but about becoming better versions of ourselves,
Right.
both for our own sake and for the sake of others.
Exactly. And that resonates so strongly with me.
Yeah.
Because it suggests that Stoicism isn't just about personal well-being.
Okay.
It's about recognizing our interconnectedness,
Yeah.
the impact our actions have on the world around us.
Mm.
It's about contributing to something larger than ourselves.
I love that. It's like Stoicism offers this framework for living a life that's not only more resilient and fulfilling
Yeah.
on a personal level, but also more meaningful and impactful in a broader sense.
Precisely. And, it makes you wonder,
Yeah.
in a world that often feels obsessed with speed, efficiency, and instant gratification,
Yeah.
what can we learn from this ancient philosophy that emphasizes virtue, wisdom, and living in accordance with nature?
That was a really good question, and one that I think we could all benefit from pondering.
Yeah.
It's been fascinating to take this deep dive into Stoicism with you,
Yeah, me too.
to move beyond the stereotypes and really uncover the richness and relevance of this philosophy,
Right.
even, or perhaps especially in our modern world.
Absolutely.
Well, that about wraps us up here.
I want to thank you for joining us on this deep dive into Stoicism.
It's been my pleasure.
I hope you found it insightful, thought-provoking, and maybe even a little bit life-changing.
Yeah, I think so.
Until next time.